Right, hi everyone. Welcome to another TalkShop TV. Our opportunity to keep you informed of what's happening across Transit Blazefield. Joined today for a change by Mark, our finance director.
Hello everyone.
The slightly good-looking version of our directors. Vito is at home celebrating his wife's 30th birthday today, so we've given the day off. So you've got us two instead. So welcome, and I think we're over a month now into the so-called lockdown, and whilst obviously that's given us all personal challenges and challenges here at work, I think the fact that we're now 4 weeks in and everyone that we can see in the business is still dealing with everything so professionally, so much in a stand-up way. You have all our thanks and appreciation for that, because we're sure it's not easy. It's not easy for many people at the moment, but still, those of you who are coming to work or working from home are still doing so very professionally, and we remain really grateful for that. And indeed, those of you who are at home furloughing as well, we appreciate that takes some effort too. In terms of not being allowed to get about and do the normal things that you're able to do. So thank you for all everyone's doing, and we're all doing it because we're hopeful of better things to come. As well as the thank yous from us, there are just gallons of thank yous we're getting from our customers, and even those in our towns and cities who aren't travelling, who are seeing the fantastic work that everybody's doing. You'll get all that. We're sharing that with you all in the copies of Small Talk, our weekly newsletter that's coming out each Friday, and we are just being inundated with all the thanks, which again proves the critical role that we're playing in the world at the moment. And again, do have a read. It makes me really proud reading them, and I'm sure you deserve to feel proud as well when you read them. Also as well, as things have changed, we've noticed as well, just people are just more and more just being used to things and getting on with things. The shifts have got longer for drivers, but now as people have got used to things, people are just coming in, getting on with it, and doing a great job. We know people are having to work a little bit harder than usual. We know our cleaners are working to tighter regimes. Our engineers are not just looking after the small operational fleet, but are helping us deal with issues for the fleet that are stood down. And to everyone is doing things in a different world, but is doing it in such a stand-up and positive way. So thank you all for that. As well as the thanks to you guys and girls out there, you'll see we're also thanking others. I'm sure, hopefully, you will have seen Captain Tom's bus that hit the streets this week. We've got a bus in Keighley, all liveried up to celebrate and thank the work that Captain Tom's done, raising the nearly 30 million now for the NHS. You'll see that hitting the streets in Keighley, his hometown. And the first of our Heroes buses has also hit the streets in Harrogate. We chose the Harrogate bus first to celebrate the opening of the Nightingale Hospital in the town, and we went to show the nurses and doctors and the staff at the district hospital last night for the clap for carers. Thank you to Neil, who took that bus down for us, and we're going to do a bus at each of our depots to celebrate and thank the work of everybody in our communities, not least our colleagues who have all the space at the back of our buses all reserved for us to say thank you to all of you as well. So moving on, we've got some questions from people that we're gonna deal with, and with Mark's help we're going to deal with a number. So we've got Mono in Blackburn who wants some information about pensions and the difference between the old and the new one. We've got some questions from Paul about how have we received our money from the government yet. Malton Depot had some questions about the process about furloughing, and there was some questions about Keighley about the security of the business. So I'll hand over to Mark.
Okay, so first of all, on the pensions, you probably all seen the email that was sent out a few weeks ago about the new Blazefield Master Trust pension. So that went live on the 1st of April. So that's provided by Aviva. So we've moved from our existing or our previous provider to Aviva, so that provides a range of benefits and advantages. So there's lower administration fees on the scheme, there's a more user-friendly online website to use for each of you to use, and there's also a wider range of funds that are invested in. So there are no changes in terms of contribution rates, either from the individual or from the company, and of course you can continue to make additional contributions in line with what you did previously. So there'll be more details on that coming out from Aviva over the coming weeks. Then in terms of the support from government, so there's two elements. There's the job retention scheme, which is the furlough. So the portal with HMRC went live on Monday, and it's held up to all of the applications that many businesses are submitting. So we made the first application, or we've made the first applications this week. We've obviously got a number of different payrolls, a number of different companies, some weekly paid, some monthly paid. So it'll be an ongoing process, but we're expecting the first rebates from HMRC before the end of April. And you may have seen the government announced last week that scheme would continue now until at least the end of June. So we'll continue to make claims for that. The other funding that you may have seen is that the FT announced the COVID Bus Services Support Grant, so CBSSG, which is for 12 weeks of funding for commercial services from the middle of March to the middle of June. We submitted the first claims, both the Department for Transport and TFGM just before Easter, and today we've received the first element of that funding for some of the companies. So from a cash flow perspective, our cash position is pretty healthy, and with the support on both the job retention scheme and the CBSSG, then over the coming weeks and months, then that will continue to be strong for our cash.
Great. Okay, so as we've said before, we're in a relatively secure position. We have to carry on taking the measures we're making to make sure we come out of this in a healthy state, and I think the challenges will be as we begin to ramp up services. That's when the extra cost will go in, and then it's about what revenue and what market is there as we put the services in. So I'm sure we will remain secure as we go along, but there are still a few challenges ahead that we'll have to meet head on. Some more questions. Don and Helen and Keithley were asking about coming back from furlough. We hear a number of you are getting a bit bored now, sat at home. I get that. So what we'd encourage you to do, if you're sitting at home furloughing and you want to, you're considering coming back, let your local general manager know, and we can start compiling a list, and we can prioritise those of you who want to come back first, and we could also ask some existing colleagues if they wish to take up furloughing and do some swapping around. So again, we'll deal with all that locally, but we'll try and again do our best to keep as many people happy as we can in that situation. Bernie Depp, there were some questions about key worker testing. So yeah, as you might have heard in the news, I think this morning and yesterday, you are prioritised as key workers in terms of being tested. The conditions around the testing are it's for those people who have symptoms or are living with people with symptoms, and the way we will manage it is that if you get in touch with, again, your general manager, we can input that information and book the appointment for you, and arrange that at a suitable local testing station to each of your depots. We have sight of where those locations are, and we'd encourage you to do that through us so we can make sure you're prioritised for testing. At Rosso and Rochdale, we had some questions, some concerns around breaks in Rochdale bus station. As those of you at Rochdale bus station know, it's quite a small canteen area. We put more breaks on the 464s into there. We're going to remove those duties that have breaks in Walthamstow and make those breaks happen back at Intact Depot instead. So that'll give everyone more space, make it more safe and more comfortable for everyone driving routes through Walthamstow, and give you guys and girls on the 464 your breaks back at Intact Depot. All screens should be now fitted to every bus that's operational. If your bus hasn't got a screen, please tell us. But as far as we are concerned, we've now got all the kit for every vehicle type that we operate, and they are all fitted. And indeed, we are now ordering more. So we have some more spares, and we have some for when services increase, so we can fit all the buses with the screens as well. We know some of you don't like them. You're used to not having them. That's what we expect, because that's not normally the way we do things. But thank you for going with it, because again, it's all for your safety and the safety of those travelling with you. And we look forward to the days when we can get rid of them and live in safer surroundings. One thing as well about staying safe to drivers in particular, we do reiterate, we do not want you to play the role of police officers in terms of managing people who is getting on your buses. It's not your role to do that. We don't want to put you in harm's way by asking you to ask people why people are travelling. Just let people travel. If your buses are busy, if people can't find enough space on the bus, please tell us as soon as possible. We will deal with that by adding extra journeys to give people more space. And if you have customers who are regularly travelling that you can see for no fit reason, please don't challenge them. Please let us know, and we will do our best to deal with that with the local police officers that we're in contact with. But we would encourage you, please do not put yourself in harm's way by getting into any discussion about why people are travelling. There are essential journeys being made for all sorts of reasons, and it's not up to us to argue that. We just want you to stay safe while you're doing your job. So looking forward, as I mentioned earlier, we are now looking at how we ramp up services. We're aware that there is some bits of normality returning this weekend in terms of, I think we're seeing more takeaways opening, we're seeing some manufacturing begin to open up. There may be more demands for more journeys, as long as they're essential journeys, as long as that's still people adhering to the government guidelines, but we will monitor that carefully. If we are seeing any level of increases made, we will increase services. One thing to be aware of is that later in May, the National Rail Network is doing some increases. That's not for any reason in terms of it's not something they know that we don't. It's about the rail industry slowly trying to ramp up to normal. They have to do things in a bit more of a slow and deliberate way. Mark has experience of that. We love the rail industry. We can act a bit more dynamically than they can, because we can move around a bit easier. So they are having to do things in a different way. So we're not planning on increasing in line with rail. We're planning on increasing when we have more information from government about what is opening up, and from our local authorities if they need us to run more services. One thing that we have to be aware of as we ramp up services, and one thing we are making decision makers aware of, is how social distancing happens on buses. We want to make our buses comfortable places to be. We don't want people to feel unsafe when they travel, but at the same time, we've gone to great effort to make people in the areas we serve believe that buses are pleasant places and you should be proud to use buses. And I think we want to make sure that happens. And we want to see this as an opportunity. If people are at home and resetting their travel plans, this is an opportunity to encourage people, hopefully, to come back to the bus instead of getting back into their car and adding to and reversing the positive trends we've seen in air quality and congestion. And again, we look at this with a glass half full for our company and for the sector. But again, we have to make sure we're doing everything in a safe way, and we work together with you, our colleagues, to make sure that we're getting the right kind of information about what's happening out in the streets. We've got loads of data we're looking at. We're in touch with you guys, we're in touch with our managers, what's happening on the ground. But direct feedback from you about what's happening on individual journeys is really helpful. So keep us in touch with that. So again, we do remain in challenging times. Exceptionally grateful for how you're all approaching it. I see more smiles on faces than I do other things, and I think that's what makes it happen in amongst the world around us. So thank you for that. We'd encourage you as ever to stay in touch with us. We'll carry on doing TalkShop TV every week. All information is updated on the Transit Exchange app. Do go and have a look on there. We're adding more services on there to support you. We mentioned about prescriptions, some support in terms of mental health support is on there. Do go and check that out. We're continuously updating that. All information should be on there. We've got the depot WhatsApp groups. We've got over 350 of you on there now. Use that as a way of keeping in touch with myself and Vito and the director team with any questions. Small Talk, our newsletter, is out every week. Next edition is out today, Friday. Keeping in touch with your trade union every Monday. Again, if you feel you wish to go via your trade union, they pass issues on to us. We have good constructive conversations with them every week. And hopefully by the end of next week, the latest copy of Talk, our main magazine, we're going to post that to everybody. So those of you who are working at home and those of you furloughing, that's our way of reaching out to you as well. So we'll post a copy of that out to everybody at the end of next week. And as ever, we remain at work. Your managers at depots remain at work. They're there to support you. That's their primary job, to support you. Do stay in touch with them. And if you've got any further questions or concerns or feedback or ideas, let's stay in touch as we are doing so well. So thank you very much, whether you're at home, at work, on the front line, or behind the scenes at work. Thanks very much for all you're doing, and we look forward to further progress and some positive times as hopefully the lockdown measures reduce and we hopefully get to normality as time goes on. But thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, everyone.
Brilliant.
Stay safe.
Take care.